Have you ever noticed that in most circles, people think that the individual who is physically the strongest is the one who is the most dominant or the most mighty or the most respected? A lot of times we think that the person who is the biggest and the most burly, or the individual who's the most quote unquote dangerous, is the one who has the most respect. And the fact of the matter is that could not be further from the truth. A lot of times you could be a big guy. A lot of times you could be a big stepper, as they say. You can be an individual who is able to cause intimidation in others. You might be an individual who can inflict pain or harm on others. But a lot of times that individual, though they may be feared, they may not necessarily be respected. And a lot of times, I know you've all heard it, and it's the honest truth, there's always someone who is bigger and badder. And so they may be a big fish in this pond, but they are a little fish in this ocean or this lake over here. And so a lot of times we fall into this, and we'll even begin to want to be that. We'll begin to think that if I can get bigger, if I can get stronger, if I can fight better, if I can fight harder, if I can get bigger guns or better guns, or I can get better with guns, I can be this person or that person and this. Just think you can go back and forth tit for tat with everybody. But this is the crazy thing. A lot of times the individual that is the most quiet, a lot of times the individual who is the most reserved, a lot of times the individual who is the most to themselves is the individual who often has the most respect. It is the individual who is so unbothered that the whole room could be on fire and they are chilling. This is crazy to think, but if you ever noticed when you were in school, at work, I don't know where you work, I don't know where you went to school, but it has always been the case, the individual who is about their business, the individual who is to themselves, the individual who is not letting everything that's going on around them affect them or intrude on their inner peace, on what they got going on, they are the ones who are often the most respected. They are the ones that are usually the most unbothered. That is by no mistake, and that is not just a happenstance. The fact of the matter is this: the individual who has the highest amount of self-control will always be the strongest. The individual who has the most self-control will always be the best. Because at that point, their outcomes and what they do and what they say is no longer contingent on anybody. It is solely on contingent on what they decided. So on today, what I'd like to encourage you is this: you may be angry right now. I deal with anger also.